Hey guys, welcome back. So today I'm going to be talking about choosing between nanny and a daycare. So, okay, disclaimer, this is the no judgment area. You choose to go with daycare or with a nanny. It all depends on your family style, size of your wallet. What else? Yeah, I mean, and what works for your family. So there's no judgment here. So I'm just basically going to talk about like the pros and cons of each one, and it kind of like give you an idea of, you know, what to expect or what to consider while making those choices. Okay, for instance, for one, childcare is something that you have to really start early. Like once you know, like you're pregnant, you have to start considering like different childcare. Like, are you, and it's especially important for anybody, whether you are a stay-at-home mom or you work out of home. Like, you have to put this into consideration. Like, what am I going to do about childcare? Because it can be tiring, honestly. Like, I know, you know, we make motherhood look pretty on the internet, but it can be tiring because it's like it's a new addition to your family. It's something that's going to throw up the ecosystem. It's a beautiful thing, but you know, it also has its pros, it also has its cons. You know, if you're choosing a daycare, for one, daycares are less expensive than choosing a nanny, because it's already a standard price for daycare. But when you start thinking about cost of maybe having 2 kids, 3 kids in a daycare, maybe the cost could get relatively higher. So that's something you also have to consider. Like, you know, do you want to do daycare or do you versus doing a nanny? If your child is in a daycare, they're going to learn like social skills, you know, how to interact with other children. I mean, it doesn't mean that if they're at home they don't gain social skills. If they're at home, they can gain social skills, you know, but you have to make sure like you take them out, you know, to where they're going to interact and meet with other kids. But being in a daycare, I mean, it's like a lot of people are there, so you have to make conscious effort if you're not going to send a child to a more structured environment. So you have to make extra commitment on your own part to take your child out to kind of like socialize with other kids. Daycares, of course, they follow the state regulations and accreditation rules, so you're sure that there's an establishment that is, you know, that, you know, they go through inspections. It has, I mean, of course you have to choose the daycare as accredited. Like, don't go to a shady daycare. Like, don't go to your friend that is, I mean, I'm not trying to shade anyone's daycare, but I mean, I know people start daycares like that. But when you're choosing daycare, make sure you choose a good daycare. Make sure you've gone there, you're sure of what they're doing. That's something you really have to consider. Don't just go to any daycare. And I'm not trying to shade anyone's daycare, but I'm just saying that make sure they follow certain rules and regulations. I mean, it's your child you're going to be dropping off somewhere, so you have to make sure everything is right. You're also sure that they are trained teachers. Make sure you also go to a daycare where the teachers are trained or they have some sort of certification. Like, make sure that they do things right there. So for you to, you know, be like in a good daycare, that, you know, they send you pictures of your child, they make sure your child is fed, you check the sleeping area. Children tend to mimic other children in the daycare. So especially for kids who are picky eaters. So you could find out that kids who eat in the daycare, they will eat things that they wouldn't eat at home in the daycare because they're with other kids and they see other kids eating. So you find out kids eating carrots, cucumbers, cauliflower, stuff like that. Or as opposed to if they were at home and they had to eat it alone, you know. So that's also something where the daycare is good. And so that's why when you're choosing a daycare, you have to also look at a daycare you have to look for an establishment that has like healthy options. You know, what kind of food do they serve children? Are they just giving them sugars? The things you have to consider when choosing a daycare. The cons of daycare. The cons of daycare are that, so going to a daycare means more germs, more illnesses, And so that's something you also have to consider and put into factor. So if your child is not feeling fine, just know they're going to call you to come back and take your child. So you also have to factor that into whatever, what kind of, is that the childcare I want? So that means if your child is not feeling well, that means you're going to skip that work you have to go to. There's more likelihood that accidents will occur in a daycare because it's like 2 teachers taking care of like the whole classroom. So 2 or 3 teachers depending on the kind of daycare you choose. So it's going to be tough for the teacher to pay attention to every single child. So there are things that are going to that they won't do for your child. Like there's some things that you want them to do for your child that they might not do. So just also know that. And also you have to also consider that it's not every child that likes the daycare. So things to consider, so it has its pros, it has its cons. Choosing a nanny. Is choosing a nanny okay? It also depends. Do you want to have a live-in or a live out of home nanny? Those are things you have to consider. Do you have a space in your house where a nanny is going to stay and feel welcome and feel loved and feel part of, like as if they are part of the family? Those are things that you have to consider. If you don't have enough rooms to host someone, then you don't need a live-in nanny. So those are things that you have to think about. With nanny, you get more control of what your child is doing. So you can have a schedule already planned out for a nanny to follow in your home. So it's a better choice in the sense that the nanny is going to pay attention to your child because that is hard for your child alone. The nanny could also help out with a few of the household chores that are also related to kids. If you're running late, maybe you're coming back late from work and you need someone to hold on to the child. In the daycare, there's a standard time. Everyone has to leave at a particular time. If you didn't extend the care, you might have to pay more or something. But at least with a nanny is, you can always call the person and say, okay, I'm coming, I'm running late, X, yada yada. You get the gist. If you need to, so it also gets nice, like if you're working like shifts, maybe like you get to work like at night, or maybe you have kind of like a schedule is off. Maybe you get to leave your home at say like 4 a.m., 3 a.m. and there's no daycare open at that time to take in your child. So a nanny will be a better choice for your family at that time, unless you have a family member who can take care of your child. There's also consistent care for your child because your child is there with someone. So, you can get either way of them to work. So these are like the pros of having a nanny because there's consistent care, there's flexibility, there's someone who's always going to be there, there's dedicated care for your child. You get to draw out your own plan and your own schedule of what you want your child to do. But the cons could come if you and the nanny have a conflicting opinions. So you might have a nanny who doesn't believe that you should eat healthy food, for instance, and you get healthy food and they try to give your child something else. So that could be something that could be a con. Another con could be nannies are also expensive. You're hiring someone, so you have to think about like sick days, vacation and stuff like that. So nannies are very expensive as well because you're hiring someone. So and, most times nannies have no regulations, so you can just get any random person. So I would suggest if you're getting a nanny, make sure you get someone who is qualified, at least who has basic education, CPR certified, someone that can be there with your child and you feel comfortable. I know you might want to cut costs and look for someone who has just entered the country or something, but do it right. It's your child. Do it right. So basically these are my little sense about choosing either to go for nanny or to go for daycare. I'm not trying to shade anybody or trying to judge anybody. Whatever decision you make, it's based on your household and the money you have and the flexibility and the style of your family. So I hope this will help you while you're choosing a nanny. If you also have questions or if you have more things to talk about, link them in the description box below, and see you in my next video. Bye.